Transcend the Wall. So it looks at the initial verse. The three realms are created solely by the mind. There is only the Dharma realm of one reality, which Sister Moon just explained. And so this one reality is that of the truth, which is the universal truth. So no Dharma exists outside of the mind. There is only pure true suchness. In other words, deep inside us, the original nature, and sometimes it's been referred to as such. The original nature is that true suchness. And so over innumerable lifetimes, we have covered it. We covered it with all our karmic seeds, our defilements. And so when you go back to the true suchness, it's also sometimes referred to as the primordial wisdom, which is the original wisdom. And that's where the 10th ground, Bodhisattva, can be able to attain that level. So the mind, the Buddha, and the sentient beings are no different in their nature. So innately, we are all the same. And that's the reason why, if you recall that one of the teaching the Master gave, I think it was in chapter 21 or 22, when the Buddha in the past life, Sakyamuni Buddha in the past life, was that of the never slighting Bodhisattva. So the natural world and the human realm all share this Dharma. The Master's explanation. The three realms are created solely by the mind. There is only the Dharma realm and one reality. Then these are not words, but the truth. So this truth is the universal truth. So it doesn't matter what background you are, what race, what religion, what ethnic, what religion, whatever you believe in maybe. That's why I call it the universal truth. So universal truth means it doesn't matter that in this lifetime, whatever religion you take. And I remember once I had there was the affinity to have a private audience with the Dalai Lama, and there was a group of us, and he said that he always said that this all the principles that we have is applicable to respective whatever your background is, and the problem is that sometimes it's all the principles that we have in the Dharma, when you encapsulate that as a religion, that sets a boundary, and it's very difficult for people then from other faith to come in and accept that because it's a religion. And I said, if there's anything at all that they say we want to set up in Malaysia, I said we should set up an institution of the mind training, and that's what the whole path of our training is about. So when we interact with people, they may tempt us to lose our temper. We can remind ourselves to be vigilant. When people say unkind words or insult us, we can feel grateful and refrain from anger. Not only shall we refrain from anger, and we should also say thank you. So, this is what we've been supposed to do. But obviously, when in the raging state, you may expect me to say thank you. But that is what we should be doing. And also there's a reason why that when you do our prayers, we should pray for our enemies. And because when you do that, you'll find that you are in peace. So Dharma is in everyone, in our daily living. Everything within culture is the Dharma. What other Dharma is there, Master asks? In truth, no Dharma exists outside of the mind. And there is only true, pure suchness. It's all within us. So if we eliminate all these afflictions that we have in our minds, the light or the nature of true suchness will be revealed. I mean, the same way that we cover a light with a cloth, obviously it cannot illuminate, but when we remove the cloth, the light will shine through. So that's why some people, when you see them, they are glowing, and this is what it is. They have eliminated as much as possible their afflictions, their incrustation. So this story of the humble and sincere offering by the Brahma to the Buddha at the Jeta Grove. So obviously it was just a humble, small cloth, and that's what only he could afford. But the thing is that this offering, what is important is it's not about how much you're going to spend money on your offering. It's about the offering coming sincerely from from the heart. And this is obviously one story about the Brahma, but because he received the prediction, everybody wants to do that, and that become a wrong intention. Okay, purely just to seek self merits. And if you recall, that's also in our story the master gave about this poor lady who sold her hair to buy a small lamb of offering, and that lamb lasted everyone else. So this offering, right, we must remember, whatever offering that we give is one of a sincerity of the heart. So we need to transcend the wall. The Buddha wanted to help all sentient beings understand the suffering of three realms so that they can eliminate causation of all the afflictions they have accumulated and walk the great body path. And that's what we should be doing when we walk this path. So the most important thing is to pay attention to three realms in our mind. And because when we do, then we are walking the path with that consciousness in us that we want to not to fall into the three realms. Now, this particular verse in here is useful to understand. I then review and explain the power of transcending the wall. Now, the Buddha, after engaging in ascetic practice and learning all other religious teachings, he understood the practice of these 96 religious teachings and then eliminated those which were incorrect. So the Buddha had to go through all this, and because he actually looking back, you need to understand what other people are practicing. And obviously, at that time, when he went through it, he went through all these practices, and he found that none of them could attain a state of enlightenment. So those based on deviant understanding and views and human methods or practices, you still see some of this happening in India when you go for your pilgrimage. It distilled them into precise and essential methods of practice. And he sat in stillness between heaven and earth to thoroughly, tranquilly contemplate all things. And that's when they attain enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, awakened to the true principles of all things in the universe. So because he went through all and this is all experiential learning in the same way that we are in, and we listen to the Dharma, we go through our experiences in our life. And these are the life becomings we have to go through. And when you go through, then you understand what the principle means. And this is where we can grow in wisdom learning. So the lessons learned, because sentient beings remain immersed in the desire realm, and all these afflictions are covered by thick layer of ignorance, which have encrusted our heart and our mind. So the Buddha had used very skillful means to teach the three vehicles to suit different capabilities. So this Dharma wheel and the Four Noble Truths actually have been done 3 times, right? Because there are 3 vehicles. We all need to understand the Four Noble Truths, even though we are on the great vehicle. And because that is the part that we need to understand. Only when we understand suffering, then we understand why we need to get out of that. So we need to understand what is samsara. So we can clearly understand the cyclic existence, and we see birth and death. Our ignorance will naturally fade away. Then our nature through suchness will manifest because we want to get out from this burning house. So we must recognize suffering and be willing to engage in a spiritual practice. Only by willingly engaging in spiritual practice can we transcend the suffering of the 3 realms. So willingly engaging is that you want to do it and that is what you want to seek. But more often than not, sometimes when we seek, it's inconvenient, the time is not right, it's too early in the morning, and we've got 101 reasons as to why we cannot seek. So when this willingly engaging is the effort for us to conquer our own maras. So contemplation. Learn the ways of the world, transcending roots of goodness. And this is about to begin with, and Master has asked us to undertake the 10 good deeds and the 5 precepts. So to live the life that ought to be lived in accord with the teachings of the path. And so we are taking on this Lotus Sutra path, the great white ox vehicle. So we got to live our life in accord with that. So it cannot just learn about it. So that when we apply that, arise the goodness or the spiritual rewards. And the spiritual rewards are the one that give us the endowment for us to be able to practice well. And when we do so, when we can transcend the worldly ways, to live in the Dharma, that of the wholesome life. And by living the wholesome life, we can get rid of unwholesome habitual tendencies so that we no longer be bound by the material world that we are in right now. So on relationship, it's about humble relationship. So you must involve to transcend desire and the ego emotion in all of us. Because when these two rises, the raging five skandhas will overwhelm you. So be ready to be humiliated by those above you, with you, and below you. And Master said earlier, so you need to be humble to be humiliated. And this is a training. And to be humiliated and you remain humble to be so. Cultivation is about evolving from letting go. And there is no more learning. And that is at the doorway of enlightenment. It's already a 10 gram bodhisattva. So empty the storehouse in your eighth consciousness. And that's what we want to do. We want to purify our past causes. There's nothing to gather, but we have plenty to get rid of. Okay, Gan En, brothers, sisters, thank you.
Yeah, Gan En, utmost Gan En to our brother Chin.